All right, let's give this one a shot here. So, the question sentence, we're going to begin with that first, as always. What was the jogging speed? All right, everyone. So, I'm going to highlight this here. What was the jogging speed? My friends, tell me, outside of the word speed, what is something else in this red highlight that we want to specifically point out? What do we want to specifically point out? What was the jogging speed? What is the one word in that red highlight that we want to grab? In this red highlight, what do we want to grab? Because it's not just about the speed, it's about being consistent. What speed? What speed? The jogging speed. Right there. The jogging speed is what we want. Because when you take a closer look at this problem, take a look, everyone. We are talking about a runner who jogs and then sprints. Let me highlight both of those in blue. We have a runner who jogs and a runner who sprints. Everyone, is it fair to say that if we have two different modes of operation, one jogging and one sprinting, isn't it fair to say that we might have different values for the rate, for the time, for the distance? Isn't that fair to say? So, yeah. So, this is what I'm talking about. If you've heard me say it before, I'll say it again. Formula setups need to be consistent. And let me show you what that looks like. This is how your focus is going to be when you're setting this problem up. So, I am looking for speed, which is another word for rate. I am looking for the rate. But more specifically, I'm looking for the jogging rate. So let me set up my formula. My formula is going to be the jogging distance equals the jogging rate multiplied by the time we spend jogging. Notice that I am not about to sit here and say, hey, I'm going to grab this distance, which is still correct, but then I'm going to grab the time right here because I think that, okay, I see a time and I'm just going to plug it in. That is not how it works. That's not how it works. Because we're trying to find the speed at which we're jogging, for our formula to work properly, we need to be consistent. So we'll plug in the distance for jogging and the time for jogging specifically. My party people, before I continue, have I repeated myself enough for that to make some sort of sense? Good. So with that, let's plug in what we have. Because for jogging specifically, I'm going to highlight this in red to be consistent here. I see that the runner jogs 6 miles, so I can absolutely plug in 6 miles right there. Perfect. I'm looking for the rate, so I'll leave R as is, and then I'm going to multiply by time. The problem is, this is not the time. 1.5 hours is not the time. Everyone, the 1.5 hours represents what? What does that actually represent? The time in total, yeah, for jogging and sprinting together. Together, exactly. So when we look at the predicament that we're in, let me move this over. The predicament that we're in is that I need the time. I need the time that we spent jogging. To get there, I can understand that the time we spend jogging plus the time we spend sprinting is going to equal 1.5 hours. My party people, does it make sense to you that if we want to find or we need the time jogging, that if we knew the time we spent sprinting, we could subtract that? Because if jogging and sprinting together is 1.5 hours, we can subtract sprinting to just get jogging. It's the same thing as if we said this. It's the same thing as if we said, hey, 2 plus blank equals 7. Well, to figure out what that blank is, we'll just subtract. We'll get that 2 out of the way, and that'll be 2 plus 5. Before I continue, does that make sense? We have to take a detour. We have to take a detour and find the time for sprinting first so we can get the jogging time. Once we have the jogging time, then this formula is complete. Then I can find what I'm looking for. So it's not just about, oh yeah, it's a one-step pony and we're done with the problem. We've got to think about what's going on. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. Let me move this over. And let's work with the other formula. Let's work with the sprinting here in blue. For the sprints, here's what I know. For the sprints, I know that we have 4 miles as the distance. And then we have 8 miles an hour as the rate. And we multiply that by time. From here, everyone, to get the time by itself, what operation are we going to commit to? Division. Absolutely. So let's divide both sides by 8, canceling out on the right side. And we're going to have 4 divided by 8. That is half. That is 0.5. But let me show you here with this long division. I'll go ahead and just show you 8 going into 4.0. 8 doesn't go into 4, but 8 goes into 40 5 times. So that is going to be 0.5. All right, that is going to be 0.5. So what we have for the time for the sprints is 0.5 hours. So help me out, everybody. Let me duplicate that. Let me go ahead and move that over here. If we spent half an hour jogging, everybody, if we spent half an hour jogging, and this is where this really comes into play, if we know one of them and we know the total, we can get that blank by subtracting. Here, 7 minus 2, that's going to be 5. That's just the example that I gave you. Everyone, help me out. Right over here. If it is 1.5 hours total, if we take away the half an hour, what is the jogging time? What is that going to be? Yeah, that's going to be 1 hour. Because again, what plus half an hour gives you an hour and a half? 1 hour. 1 hour plus half an hour gives us an hour and a half. And that's how we know, boom, right there, the time is 1 hour spent jogging. And now, everyone, now can you see that we can finally solve this equation? Now we can solve for the rate. Do we see that now? We have the distance, we have the time. Now we can solve for that rate. And now that we've been consistent, boom, one last step is to divide both sides by 1, which we don't even need to do because r times 1 is just going to be r. Anything times 1 is going to be itself. So we have 6 miles divided by 1 hour is going to be 6 miles per hour. That is the rate at which this runner was jogging. And that'll be answer choice C. So let's solve for x here. And the equation that we're given is x minus 27 equals 13. So to solve these equations, remember that all we're doing is we're working backwards. We want to work backwards and get rid of everything that's around the x. And in this particular problem, it's going to be minus 27. So everybody, hit me. We all know this fact. What is the opposite of subtracting 27 from a variable? Yeah, the opposite is going to be adding. So let's go ahead and do that. Plus 27 on the left and on the right. Booyah right there. And so we will go ahead and cancel out on the left, leaving us with x equals 13 plus 27. We can simply do 10 plus 20, which is 30, and then 3 plus 7 is another 10. So that would end up being 40. But there we go. Answer here is answer choice D, 40, and we can check our work by doing 40, swapping in the x, minus 27, and that indeed does equal 13. So we're all good, all correct, and we're good to move on.